Have you ever paused to wonder how sugar is made? It's a question that tickles the taste buds, isn't it? This sweet ingredient, so ubiquitous in our kitchens, actually has quite a fascinating journey. It primarily comes from two sources: sugarcane, a tall grass with juicy stalks, and sugar beets, a root vegetable with a high sugar content. Both of these plants undergo a series of processes before the sugar reaches your pantry. Stay tuned as we unravel the sweet mystery of sugar production. Our journey begins in the fields, where sugarcane or sugar beets are grown. These crops are the heart and soul of the sugar production process. Planting and nurturing these crops requires a keen understanding of the seasons, a careful eye, and a lot of hard work. For sugarcane, a tropical climate is preferred, while sugar beets favor the cooler climates. These crops are planted in nutrient-rich soil and need ample sunlight and water to grow. After several months, when the crops have reached their peak, it's harvest time. Sugarcane is usually cut down by hand or machine, while sugar beets are uprooted from the ground. This process isn't just about growing and harvesting crops, it's a dance with nature, a testament to the farmer's skill and dedication. It's about understanding the land, the weather, and the crop itself. Once harvested, these crops are off to the mill or factory for the next phase. This, dear friends, is just the beginning of our sweet journey. Now, the harvested crops are ready for juice extraction. The first step in this fascinating process is to get the sweet juice out of our harvested crops. Whether we're talking about sugarcane or sugar beets, the goal is the same: extract the juice packed with sugar. For sugarcane, this is accomplished through a process called crushing. As the name implies, the sugarcane stalks are crushed between heavy rollers, which squeeze out the sweet juice. Picture a giant hand wringing out a wet towel, but instead of water, it's sugary goodness we're after. On the other hand, sugar beets undergo a slightly different process. Instead of crushing, the beets are sliced into thin cassettes, kind of like beet chips. These cassettes are then soaked in hot water in a process called diffusion. The hot water gradually extracts the sugar from the beets, in the same way that a cup of tea extracts flavor from a tea bag. In both cases, the result is a sweet juice that's ready to be transformed into the sugar we know and love. It's a fascinating process that takes a lot of precision and care, but the end result is worth it. After all, where would we be without our morning cup of coffee sweetened with a spoonful of sugar? With the juice now extracted, we're one step closer to getting our sweet, sweet sugar. The extracted juice now goes through a purification process. And what a process it is, folks! This sweet nectar from Mother Nature herself doesn't just magically transform into the white, grainy goodness we sprinkle on our morning pastries. Oh no, it takes a little bit of chemistry magic to make that happen. First up, we're introducing a new player to the field: lime. Yep, you heard right, lime. Not the citrus fruit, mind you, but calcium hydroxide. This lime is mixed into the juice, causing impurities to separate and float to the surface. This process is called liming, and it's as essential as kneading dough for bread. But wait, we're not done yet. You see, there's still some lingering impurities. So we bring in our next guest, carbon dioxide. When carbon dioxide is bubbled through the juice, it reacts with the lime to form calcium carbonate, a substance that further helps in purifying the juice. Now that we have our juice all cleaned up, it's time for the main event: evaporation and crystallization. The juice is boiled under vacuum, a process that allows it to boil at a lower temperature and thus prevents caramelization. This evaporation process is repeated multiple times, each time producing a thicker, more concentrated syrup. This thick syrup is now ready to enter the crystallizers. Here, the temperature is carefully controlled to encourage the formation of sugar crystals. And voila, we have sugar. But not just any sugar, these are pure, white, sweet sugar crystals. The kind that instantly dissolves on your tongue and sends a wave of sweet delight coursing through your veins. But these sugar crystals are not quite ready yet. They're still wet with syrup and need to be dried. They're sent to a centrifuge where the remaining syrup is spun off, leaving behind the dry, sparkling sugar crystals we all know and love. Yes, sugar isn't just sweet, it's a marvel of nature and science, a testament to human ingenuity. And that, dear listeners, is how we turn the sweet juice of sugarcane into the sugar we use every day. This crystallization process gives us the sugar crystals we all know and love. From the factory, our sugar is ready to sweeten up your day. But before it can do that, it needs to go through a few more steps. Once the sugar crystals are fully formed and dried, they are ready to be packaged. This packaging takes place in a tightly controlled environment to ensure the sugar stays as pristine as possible. It's fascinating how sugar can be found in so many forms in the market. You've got your classic granulated sugar, the most common type used in baking. Then there's powdered sugar, which is granulated sugar that's been crushed into a fine powder. And let's not forget brown sugar, which contains a touch of molasses for that distinct flavor. Once packed, the sugar is distributed to supermarkets, bakeries, and even directly to homes across the globe. It's quite a journey from the cane fields to your pantry, isn't it? And that, my friends, is how sugar makes its sweet journey from field to table. So, to sum it all up, in the grand scheme of sugar production, it all begins with the humble sugarcane or sugar beet. These raw materials are harvested, ripe and ready, then taken to the mills. Here, their sweet juice is extracted, a process that's not as simple as squeezing a fruit, but equally rewarding. Following extraction, we enter the world of purification. This is where the juice is transformed, losing its raw, earthy character and gaining a sparkling cleanliness. But it's not sugar yet. It must undergo crystallization, a process that's as magical as it sounds. Tiny sugar crystals form, growing and maturing until they're ready for the world. And then, we get to the final stages: packaging and distribution. The sugar is packed and sent on its way, ready to sweeten your life. Next time you sweeten your coffee or bake a cake, remember the fascinating journey of sugar.